Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. Before we begin, just want to remind you to follow us wherever you listen so you don't miss any episodes or bonus content. If you love what we do and want an easy way to show your support, please consider leaving us a positive, all the stars rating on your favorite listening platform. It helps SPN and fanfic lovers find us and share in the fun. I'm Sandra.
I'm Kasey, and we're giving back to y'all this week. Like, we don't give back to y'all every week. It's so fucking benevolent. No, this week we are doing a fan/listener shout out. So if you've reached out to us since our birthday, I think the last time we did one of these was our birthday, and we said then that we would be, trying to make this a more regular,
consistent,
occurrence. So, in our defense, it is right. I'm rambling. We said we were gonna make, try and reach out to you guys that reach out to us. So that's what we're doing today. So we got lists, we got bullet points. Like, if you've contacted us in the last couple of months, I have made a note of it.
Yes.
So sit down tight because your name's going to be coming up soon.
Yes. And we're hoping to do this every few months. No. I think we're going to cover a couple months, right? Is that what we're trying to do? I think that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Do you consider bi-monthly to mean every 2 months or twice a month? It's a confusing term. Every couple of months.
Honestly, I'm just kind of thinking of it as once every quarter. So once every 3 months, we're going to try to do this, where we're going to try to backtrack the 2 months prior to when we do it. So to me, it's every quarter is how I'm thinking we're going to be doing this thing.
Confusingly, to everything that a quarter means, that is 3 months, not 2 months.
No. But what I'm saying is in the time period of 3 months, right? So if we're doing February, March, but we're talking about it in April, right? Then April, May, and then we'll do it in June. So I'm thinking 3 months in that time frame, like that, including when we do the shout out kind of a situation. It'll make sense if we actually do this on a regular basis. So if we do this the way I'm hoping, we'll be doing this sort of you'll hear from us once every, say, 3 months, and we'll be talking about fan interactions, listener interactions, and all those lovely things that have occurred within a time frame. Yeah.
We're making a list. It's cool.
I don't know if we're checking it twice, but we're checking it twice before we actually get to sit down and record.
We checked it twice this time. We did. So we'll make a list. We'll check it twice. It'll be fucking sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was informed that I am driving the Impala today, which seems very fucking dangerous because I don't have a driving license. So buckle in, bitches. I don't even think the Impala comes with seatbelts. We might all be about to die, but it'll probably be fine.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like Jack driving baby.
I thought that when you said that to me last night, when you're like, you are driving the Impala tomorrow, and I was like, yay, I'm Jack and you're Dean.
This is the best day ever. That's how you're going to be feeling. So that's how it is. That's how it is today. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is the best day ever. Alrighty. But we could not start any kind of fan shout out, listener shout out, interaction shout out without mentioning the OG people that have been in our Discord since we set that motherfucker up last year. So Sandra said
and all the invites that worked, didn't work. We didn't know they weren't working. People were letting us know, and then we were figuring that stuff out. So you've been with us from the very beginning. And
we love you.
Know what we were doing. We still don't, but at least we know a little bit more than we did before. So
we are marginally more informed than we were last year. So in no particular order of who joined first, but just the OGs, meaning people that joined before January of 2024, we have Purple Edge, BJ/Dara Lee, Aramis/Jessica, Raspberry, Runaway Dreamer, and my favorite, I have to say that legally, I'm contracted to say that, Mad Ed Forever. And if you are from America and you're thinking, why didn't they pronounce the H in that word? You don't. It's not. We don't do H's over here. So, like that clip from Black Panther, we don't do that here. It's like that. But I am legally contracted to say that particular Discord user is my favorite because they are legally my husband. He has never said a fucking word in the Discord. Not one single motherfucking word. But I checked the paperwork, and legally I have to call him my favorite in all things, So
And he's
There we go.
supporting. So he's showing his support.
He is support. And he follows us on all the places. He's a cutie pie. Step up your game, Tedward. Step it up, motherfucker. So those are our OG Discord members, and we love you dearly. We miss you when you don't talk to us for a little while, when you get busy with life.
We got it.
If y'all could just pop in and be like, hi, not dead. That would be really helpful for my anxiety. Thank you. You're kind of like, you're like the commenters that don't comment when we post one thing and we're like, shit, do they hate us now? Work. So if you're on that list and you haven't popped in for a minute, but you're listening to this, just pop in and be like, hi, because we miss you. Yeah. We miss you. Thank you endlessly to our OG Discord members. And now we get into lists, proper lists.
Lots of lists. So many lists today.
So many lists. If you joined us in February of 2024 or January or December, I don't think we started deciding that this was going to be an idea until significantly after the birthday episode was recorded.
We're like, we need to do the thing if we say we're going to do it. Yeah.
We got to do the thing. But if you joined us in February or before of 2024, sit tight, your name's coming up. So we'll start off with Sam and Dean, or Pink Hippo, who actually joined us in December 2023, but we're still counting you. It's a backdated thing. Pillow Princess Dean, who joined us in January 2024. And then the rest of these, they might be in order, they might not. Don't hold me to it. Sometimes I added people to the list as they popped in. Sometimes I waited for a few days. So people that did actually join in February: AJ, aka Super Gay Supernatural. What a cool fucking name. Jackie 4, Archangel Vivi, Cora 2022, Jin / Dragonhard. No, Dragonhard Hill. See, what happens is we drop H's from some words and then we put them in other words where they don't belong. It's a constant cycle of H distribution. It's a problem. Mrs. Whoosy What's It, Michelle, Chronic Ache. I want to say Chronic Cash, but it's not. It is Chronic Ache. Sam and Dean 76, Re / you will have to tell us how to pronounce this because we're iffy. Is it Cloud Yunes or is it Cloudy Oons? We don't know. We don't know. Fictional Lemons and Caroline / Digital Meow Mix. Thank you so much for joining our little server. I know some of you are a little bit quieter. You like to lurk in the background. But again, if you've heard your name, just pop up and say hi. We're always thinking about you, even if you are sort of a little bit more of a lurker, a little bit more quiet. Sandra identifies. Sandra's quiet.
I get it.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm Malfi. Pop up. I'll talk to you. It's all good. So we had like a big influx of people in February, and hang on, I've lost March. Oh, there it is. And then a little bit less people in March, but that's fine. That's okay. We don't mind if we could just bump it up for April, though. Thanks, guys. So people that joined us for just in March. So we had MJ, aka Incog Ninja, aka Thoughts Like a Minefield. Yes, we all swooned. We were like, oh my god, she's in our Discord server. Fucking hell. Turns out she's just a normal person, guys. A freakishly well-connected normal person. Love you, MJ. Princess Misery / Stacy, JDL71, and Jackals vs. Bingo, aka Kim. But
lovely Kim.
A little bit of overlap there between me joining the Jackals vs. Bingo Discord, but actually it had nothing to do with me joining the Discord. It had everything to do with Kim's episode coming out and people in her lovely Discord going, oh my god, you were on a podcast, and some of them coming over to say hi. So again, some people that really like to talk, some people in the background. We love you all regardless, but if you hear your name, just pop up and say hi. Just let big yawn. Sorry guys, Cena just yawned and I am physically unable to not say big yawn when one of the cats yawns. We stopped counting at March because we're now in April. So thank you again to everyone. Thank you endlessly to our OG members. Thank you endlessly to everyone that has joined us since the start of the year. We love you all. We miss you when you go silent. We're thinking about you. And I personally fucking adore the space that our Discord has become. I love knowing that I can hop in. And honestly, I don't know what I'm going to get. Is someone going to come at me with an idea about being whiskey drunk with Jared? Yeah, maybe. Am I going to get fucking amazing Sam porn? Yeah, maybe. Is someone going to tell me about their pet or a new baby that's been born into their family? Fucking maybe. And it's awesome. I love it. There is no matter what you want to talk about, no matter what you're doing, there is a space in our Discord for you to come and have a chat with us. So if you're not already a member, come hop on over, guys. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's a roomy backseat, y'all.
Yeah,
it's like the TARDIS of backseats.
I think that's important to mention too, is like, we have like a general channel. We did a little bit more restructuring, just kind of like whatever everybody's like comfort level is. Like, so there's places that are pretty much stated, this is what's going on in here, and we've got, nice welcome, rules, all those lovely things. So, and we've got a great mod. We've got Dreamer, who's been helping us out, taking the reins of like, yes, I will help you mod this thing that we thought was going to be, oh yeah, let's just set up a Discord server. It's a lot of work. We did not realize that until I think that's just a theme. We did not realize.
Yeah, we were ill prepared for this venture when we set out on it. But yeah, just to qualify it, like, you won't be hanging out somewhere talking about pets and someone will be like, hello, here's a penis.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen. It's very, very well sort of structured. If you want safe for work shit, there are spaces that are exclusively safe for work and nothing not safe for work is allowed in them. And if you want not safe for work stuff, I mean, it's in its own room, but I think that's reasonable. You can't just be waving cocks around at breakfast. Apparently I'm weird for thinking that, but you can't be waving cocks around at breakfast.
Oh, I'm in agreement with that. I was like, please no.
Me and Sandra have feelings that cocks have to wait until after breakfast.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But yeah, there is a space for whatever you want to talk about. You want to hash out some writing thoughts that you might be having. You want some help with something. We got spaces for that. You want to share this incredible fucking art that you found. You want to share art that you made or fix that you wrote. We got you covered, fam. We got everything.
We started
like
that.
Baskin Robbins.
We started the Fic Recs fan art rec thing because of International Fan Works Day in February. So we kind of like started that up, and we want to keep that going. So if you are in Discord, just remember, like, pop in a recommendation, either something you wrote or something somebody else wrote that you're like, here, read this. And then the whole goal is to keep comments, interactions going outside of our Discord as well. So not only are we giving people within our Discord, here, go check out this thing, but then the goal is, whether it's on Tumblr or AO3, going back and giving those authors, those artists, that little boost of, hey, I saw your thing. Hey, this is great. And keeping that going, because a lot of inspiration, the willingness to write, the willingness to draw, a lot of it comes from the feedback that you get back. Because when you share something,
totally,
you're sharing it really inherently because you want to share this thing that you did with others. At the end of the day, I think we all write for ourselves, but the sharing aspect of it comes with this hope of interaction, seeing you've given somebody something to think about, or they really love the certain thing. So always have that in the back of your mind, I guess. Like, even if it's just a kudo, even if it's just a like, even if it's just a reblog, even if it's just a really quick comment, they all mean a lot. And yes, we don't always practice what we preach, but we're getting better at it. We're trying to remember to do those things. So as long as it's in the back of your mind, always do that. And I will say, I think I mentioned this in Discord, that I'd found this sort of script that sort of functions as, it opens up like a little window, and you can like highlight sections of text, and you can pop that into, and so then so it italicizes it, and then you can sort of like make a comment after that. So I just tried that out last night, and it does seem to work well. I use it on a separate browser outside of like my normal browser, but it's working. So I'll probably like add that link into the Discord. Like, I've tried this out. It does kind of work. If anybody wants it, let me know. I'm probably not just going to throw it out willy-nilly, because I always get a little weirded out by things that people have to install that I recommend. But it seems to be fine, and my computer has not broken down yet. So yay, it's another option for commenting, especially if you, sorry, I know I'm going on a tangent, but if you like to read and you think of something as you're reading it, but you want to highlight that moment, but then you might forget if you keep reading. So you have the opportunity to do that right there instead of going all the way down to the bottom. You know what I mean? So it's like, it makes it more in the moment, thoughts, processes, comments, that kind of thing. So yeah, comment.
That is one of the things I love about Google. I know there's been quite a bit of controversy around Google at the moment, but I love the fact that I can just be like, oh my God, this, like at the moment. So an extension that allows me to do that, I will be all up in that business. Also, if you, I apparently have caused some kind of wave of Sims 4 Wincest fuckery in that Discord.
It's gotten very quiet.
Yeah. It's got real quiet. Everyone's off making digital Sam and Dean's bone in increasingly absurd positions. But also, you know, if The Sims is your jam, we got a lot of Sims fans in there. If The Sims and SPN is your jam, we not only have a lot of people in there that can help you, but also we have a lot of people who can give you resources to amazing custom content that help you make the Sam, Dean, Cass, anybody else of your dreams. But yeah, in the not safe for work, you might find beautiful fan art from Tumblr. You might find a screen grab of someone's Sims fucking. It's a wild ride in there. It is a wild ride in there.
Oh gosh. Yeah, but that's the thing that Kasey did.
Yeah, I take full responsibility for that. That's my fault. That is my fault.
I don't think anybody would complain that's currently on The Sims now because of that. Oh goodness.
Now that we've shouted out all the Discord joiners, let's take a look at some of the people who have reached out to us in various means over February and March. So if you reach out to us on YouTube, we will reply to you where we can. At the very least, we will be like, hi, we saw this, we love it, thank you. But we will always reply to you if we can on YouTube. So what we wanted to collect really were Spotify Q&A responses, because we can't fucking reply to them. We have no way to reply to them. We can't even it doesn't give us anything other than the username you choose to attach to your comment. Right. So we can't reach out to you or anything.
But we still appreciate that. Do that.
100%. Yeah.
But if you want to include in the comment, like if you want to reply to me, you could find me at give us your Twitter or Tumblr, a handle that we can sort of search out if we want to, talk to you a bit. So only if you're comfortable doing that, however you want to do that. Yeah. But it helps. Totally. It gives us a little bit of a breadcrumb to find you guys. So
to find you. I will find you. That's weird and stalkerish. We won't. If you want to chat to us, include some contact details. If you just want to leave a comment, that's totally cool. We wanted to, grab all the Q&A responses and, include them in this and be like, hi, we saw you. Thank you. So Q&A responses from February. So we got a couple of responses on Pine Sweat Chapter 4, which, if you didn't know, Sandra is reading all of the chapters of Pine Sweat. They're not on an upload schedule. You just get them when you get them. But fuck me, they're good, right?
My hope is to finish them by August. That's my goal.
I gave you such a good out there.
You did. But
and
no,
you just pissed all over it. You're no, I'm going to commit myself.
No, I do have a schedule that I'm trying to adhere to. Hopefully the goal is 1 a month up to August. But if there is a delay, you'll understand that, I wasn't able to get to it.
All right. Sandra's apparently working on her own schedule. I'm not working on any Sandra schedule. They just appear when they appear. And I'm like, oh, it's like Christmas.
Look, yay.
Yeah. So if you haven't read Pine Sweat, go read it. Oh my
gosh, yes.
Go read it and then go listen to the episode we did with Ronnie, Apple Crumbledore, the author of Pine Sweat, and then listen to Sandra read Pine Sweat, and it'll be fucking sweet. But these responses were left on Pine Sweat Chapter 4. So we have the username JB that just says, I love this story so much. Great to get another installment to listen to. Love the way you do their voices without forcing it. I can picture them really clearly. Thank you. Thank you, JB, for your lovely compliment.
Yeah. I appreciate
Sandra's wonderful narration. I don't know why there was a really big pause there. Thank you for your compliment on Sandra's narration, and thank you for leaving us a response. And same episode from username Callie Faye. Love, love, love it. It's so fantastic to be able to relive this story again every time you put another chapter out. Thank you so much. Thank you, Callie Faye, for, again, lovely compliments on Sandra's fabulous narrating and lovely response to our episodes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then on the episode Sam Tops, Dean Bottoms, which we actually also got a YouTube comment on that was like, I thought this was going to be something different. So we did actually reply to that YouTube comment and be like, well, now you've put an idea in our heads. But this one was left on Spotify, and it's by Jabberjaws, which is actually AJ. They just apparently, like Sandra, they just like having different names everywhere, which is fine. I don't yell at people about that anymore. But they left a comment, oh my God, I love this episode so much. I was laughing so hard. Carly is reading my mind. So this episode went out pre my trans name change. Honestly. And I'm sorry, Sandra, but GIF is short for graphical interchange format, which means it's a hard G. And I very smartly sent that to Sandra and went, look, I'm right. And she came back at me with, I know you're right. I just pronounce it the other way because I like it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't care. Which, took a lot of the fun out of my moment, but it's fine. It's fine. And then from
that was a fun episode, though. I will say that was a fun episode to do. That was a
fun episode. Yeah. And then from the first part of Dreamer's interview, so Runaway Dreamer, we did just a general author interview with her. And then we did a Gently Taking Authors to Task interview, focusing more on her Sandman series, which has just come out this week at time of recording.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Callie Faye again left us a response that says, another great episode. So thank you very much, Callie Faye. So that covers it for Spotify Q&As. There weren't any in March, which is totally cool. We understand. Mm-hmm. Please leave us responses. We thrive on them. But we did get a couple of Tumblr asks and messages in February and March. So in February, Dragonard Hill, who joined the Discord, left us an ask on Tumblr, which was so fucking exciting because I've never had an ask before. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best. And they said, love the podcast. Always enjoy your unique perspectives on topics and great interviews with SPN writers. Wonderful job narrating Fix 2. I've especially loved being able to revisit Pine Sweat as chapters are added. Less than 3. Love heart emoji. I'm usually all about Wincest, but your podcast has made me want to explore other pairings too. Thank you.
So I love that. I love that. I love that we're able to give people, here's another option if you want to take a look at it and see what that's about. So I like that. I like that we have open-minded people listening. I'll give it a shot. If it's not my cup of tea, it's not my cup of tea. That's fine.
Well,
but
that's it. That's totally fine.
There we go.
It's totally fine. I love that. And I love the fact that we inspire people into Wincest. And I love the fact that a Wincest person, a Wincest shipper found us and was like, oh, maybe there's more out there. I love that. I love that endlessly.
I've had that happen recently where somebody was like, I came from the podcast and they're starting to read my OFC stuff. And I'm just that's so great. So I love that.
That's so great. Yeah. I love that. We are a huge fan. And also we were super hyped to have an ask. I sent it to Sandra, look, somebody did a thing. Oh God, I'm too old for technology. And then in March, we got a message on Tumblr. And this is from Mean Old Queen. And they said to us, just started listening today and OMG, loving the pod, especially the pod fix. Thanks for the service. So thank you for reaching out to messages. Everyone is so complimentary about your podfix, Sandra. I'm starting to feel surplus to requirements here.
I appreciate it. I like that. I like that people enjoy what I do because it does take a bit of time. It's not just sitting.
Takes a minute, y'all.
Takes a minute. I don't know if anybody is behind the scenes, but narrating typically whatever you hear recorded, say if it's an hour, actually that plus all of the post-production and everything, formatting it, editing it, mastering it, you could probably put another hour and a half to that. So it could take, for every hour, it could take up to 3 hours of time on it. And I also, because I want to make it, as I'm improving my narration, I want to make it feel like you're actually listening to an audiobook. So those things are kind of upping. It's giving me practice, but I appreciate that everybody enjoys it when they listen to it. So
you do an amazing job.
Thank you.
You really do. So yay, everybody is lovely and supportive of Sandra and the podcast, and we love it. Thank you endlessly. So we're going to just hop over to a couple of YouTube comments that we got that were beefy as fuck. And I was like, we need to talk about this. So the first one is again left by AJ. And I'm so sorry if you were thinking that we'd missed it or we ignored it or anything. It was beefy. And I was like, we need to talk, but I can't just reply to this because it's usually me that replies to. If you comment on an episode, it's usually me that replies to. If you comment on a podfic, it's usually Sandra. And I was like, I can't, I have to, we have to talk about this. This is a thought. So this was left on the episode Fan Mail, Daddy Issues. So this was after
a while back.
AJ left us a comment. I'm just listening to this episode now on Spotify and I wanted to comment, but couldn't. Also, what I wanted to say would probably not fit in the small comment box that Spotify supplies. Sorry. Everyone spam Spotify for bigger comment boxes. As a John Winchester sympathizer, and I really think at this point, AJ, we might have to haul you on for an episode because we are quite avidly not John Winchester sympathizers, and I would love to chat with a sympathizer. So as a John Winchester sympathizer, I really appreciate this episode because Supernatural is one of the few shows that creates wonderfully dynamic characters with backgrounds that make them complex and human rather than just good or bad. I think a lot of fans forget this without taking into account the context. I'm guilty of that. John Winchester was a shit dad, I agree. Like, hop in with thoughts at any point, please, Sandra, stop me. But I also strongly believe he never had a chance to be his best, and therefore his children did suffer due to it. I love the fan mail, which mirrors exactly how I felt. So that fan mail was from Miss Audubon, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yes. Also, we miss you, Miss Audubon. We miss you. We're not around on Twitter as much, but, you know, drop us an email. We're always thinking of you.
Yeah.
John suffered trauma after trauma, and this led to mental health and also maladaptive coping mechanisms. He became obsessed with revenge while dragging his children along due to losing his wife, which he felt was the right thing to do. One thing I also noticed that the fan mail forgot to mention is that not only was John traumatized by the Vietnam War and then came home, probably got no therapy, he then fell in love with a woman who adored him, wanted to run away from her own family for him, and he had a sense of hope for the future with her. Before all of this, we forget to include that John's father one day disappeared and never came back. That is another heartbreak and confusion in this man's life at an early age he never got an answer to. This meant he never had an example of what a responsible father actually looked like. Okay,
I will say, I don't think we get that information right away when we're first introduced to John about the father disappearing. So I think in some ways, and I think good fiction does this, is they don't give you everything all at once about a character and their background. So I think these other little pieces that they add in try to build a better picture of why, but it still feels to me a little too late because of what the boys had to go through. But again, I'm just super, I don't want the boys to be hurt. And when we get family that does that, it kind of just hurts more, even though I understand everything that AJ is saying. I really do. I get it. It doesn't change the fact that I just don't, he's just not my favorite. He's not my favorite person.
An explanation, but it's not an excuse, you know? The reason that I stopped there is, I was literally just talking to Sandra about this before we started recording. I have, unfortunately, y'all ever have those mental boxes that you're like, no. And then after a period of time, the mental box just kind of creeps forward and goes, yes. And you don't want to open it, but it's opening by itself. And by God, there's like tentacles and demons coming out of it. And you really need to fucking deal with this. This is happening to me right now. And it is the slow dawning realization that while I was always aware that my childhood wasn't great, it's the slow dawning realization that actually it was fucking neglectful and abusive. And the adults around me failed me in a lot of ways. And I was just talking to Sandra about this, about the choices that I'm making for my children going forward. Now, I fully agree with AJ that John never had an example of what a responsible father looked like, but it's still, and those choices are, you know, like, I'm not going to sit here and like demonize addiction and, you know, be like, oh, you could just fucking not though. Like, you know, it's a disease, and I get that. And we discussed in that episode John's various addictions and his addiction to revenge that led him down those paths. But I do think just because you didn't have a good role model, it makes things harder for you, but it does not make them impossible. You can
break the cycle a little.
Yeah. I'm not saying that being a good parent or an abusive parent is a choice, but you can take steps to make better choices. You can try and be the role model that you wished you had, you know? And it's not always successful. Am I a perfect parent? Fuck no. I would say I average good parent like maybe once or twice a week. That's it. You know, I'm aware of my limitations and my failures, but I'm trying. And that's something that I don't think John ever managed to do, is to try for his children, try and be better, do better.
Yeah. And I think one of the things we were talking about too, and I think this is when, you know, I think for the sake of it being a fictional character, I think maybe, you know, it gives us the opportunity to project a lot more of our feelings onto like it actually being an actual person. But I think one of the things we had talked about previously about this too is that, our parents are sort of like put into this different category when we're younger. And unfortunately, just as any other human being, they learn coping skills, right? To get through a situation, a time period. Those coping skills aren't necessarily good in the long run, but they're good for the temporary here and now. This is how I make it through to the next day, to the next whatever, da 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 da. And unless they come to some sort of, and this is different for everybody. So I don't want to, it's like this aha moment that everybody gets. And it's not something that anybody should be demonized for because everybody's on their own journey. But I think with John in particular, the revenge aspect of it does overwhelm and consume him so much that there isn't really breathing room for anything else beyond that. And I think that's what I think makes it makes a great fictional character. I think it makes a great foil for the boys that makes Supernatural so very interesting when it comes down to family dynamics and how that affects both Sam and Dean in ways, but differently, and what the outcome's going to be. You like roll the dice. Here's what it is when you mix in all these other parts of these other different, these different characteristics, personalities, traits, how they interact, the triangulation, the enmeshment, all these things that we talked about, I think, in a lot of other episodes with this family. And I think really you've got to say, even Jeffrey Dean Morgan, going back and looking at season 1, he did a really good job of just kind of like not really giving you like, there's hurt there, there's care, but it's like he just can't seem to get beyond that point where the care doesn't also hurt in some ways. And I think there's reaching out and him trying all of those things, but it just doesn't quite land for me, because again, I feel like you've got to have somebody in that show to say, well, this is why this is happening to them. That's not going to be a very sympathetic character to me. Again, fictional. Yeah, but I totally get all of those things and about the human aspect of him and what he's dealing with. But doesn't mean I'm going to like him.
Yeah, everyone is a product of their own journey. 100%. And we can recognize that, but I think the willingness to try is always a big factor for me. And I don't feel like John ever wanted to try to be better. He wanted to try a lot of things, but putting his fucking kids first wasn't one of them. And that is the choice. Is you can stay where you are you can stay stuck, or you can try to be better. And I'm not saying that trying to be better is easy. And again, I am not here to demonize any kind of addictions, mental health issues, anything like that. You got to make a choice to try. That's what it comes down to for me. It's life can deal you a shit hand, but you have to make the choice to try and be better. And I don't think John ever did that. And that's where it comes down to for me, personally. But we're not done with AJ's comment. It's an epic, and I love it. So fast forward, he gets married. He somehow creates a sense of normalcy with his wife, and he has 2 kids. It's not perfect, but it's probably better than what he predicted. Then one day, when his youngest son is 6 months of age, he wakes up to his wife screaming. He goes into his son's cradle. His wife is pinned to the roof, bleeding, and then the house combusts into flames. Then he also learns that monsters exist, not just bad people as he experienced in the war, but actual real demons, ghosts, monsters, etc. His PTSD was triggered, and his already intense anxiety would have been made worse. I can read, guys. And became paranoid. He also already had symptoms of alcoholism, which when mixed with paranoia and believing he was on a hero's mission, can literally become borderline delusional, which made him powerless at the end of the day. Now, I know I'm running with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if John was borderline delusional due to his alcohol dependency and existing mental health issues. He had very few people John felt he could trust. He probably also found out that demons can look like humans, which would have been even more terrifying. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I get it. I don't think that that's incorrect. I mean, based on, her thoughts. So I can see it. Yeah. I wonder, well, it shouldn't be counted, but I wonder how many people's views of John were changed after the Winchesters, if they watched it. Yeah, but see, because you watched it, it's
if you
also
watched
a little
it,
bit
you
of a
know,
rug from under you. So I don't know if we can base that
but
on
do you not?
Supernatural.
I find myself doing that though. I watched the Winchesters. I know the big
to be very
twist.
sympathetic as a younger,
and I found him
John.
Very sympathetic as a younger man, and I was very much like, oh no, I'd like him, and that's a fucking problem.
Because I think again, you're seeing what could have been before this happened, right? And it's like you see the potential, you see the willingness, the wanting to be better. And like I said, something like this, as AJ was talking about, once the PTSD was triggered, it kind of probably washed any of whatever he was probably still hanging on to away, So yeah, I get it. But yeah, the Winchesters is, I always want to go back to that, but I'm like, but we can't though. We can't.
We really can't. Yeah. And that's difficult. That is difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm actually not going to include the next part. AJ, if you want, like, just for your privacy more than anything. So Supernatural creates this beautiful example of a character that has really bad habits and behavior, but at the same time isn't necessarily evil. I hate that I agree with that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Supernatural was so good at creating characters with dark and light, good and bad, which is the essence of what humans are. There is rarely anyone who is pure good and pure bad. Very true.
He's not evil. Doesn't mean I have to like him. That's the thing. Like,
he's not evil. He still sucks, though. Like, like good people can still suck. I think I'm a good person, and I still suck.
Sometimes we suck.
Sometimes we suck.
Sometimes we suck more than we need to, and sometimes we continue to suck. I think that John, in my opinion,
I'm so glad you realized that you've overdone that metaphor so hard.
Yeah, I pulled it back.
Because I was like, hold it together.
Pulled it back. There we go. There we go.
No, it's that is the crux of the issue, isn't it? That he's doing what he thinks is right. And I very much appreciate that my point of view on this comes from a shitty little parent fucking soapbox of how you should parent. And my parenting is, not everyone's going to parent like me. I don't parent like everybody else, but I'm aware of my own biases. But yeah, no, that is 100% one of the things that I love about Supernatural is that it's the literal definition of what if it just bends a little and a little bit more and a little bit more. How far can it go before it's unrecognizable is what we're trying to say.
And I love that someone like AJ can come on, make a comment and not feel that we're going to jump down her throat, because there's no need to apologize for this frame of thinking, for why it's hitting her the way that it is and her reasonings, because at the end of the day, they can all make sense and coexist. It's how we view it. It's the lens with which we're viewing it. And everybody's going to come at it just a little different. And that's great. That's great. Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna skip over some things here, just for your privacy, AJ. Again, reach out to us if you're not happy with us skipping over some stuff. But she rounds it up with apologies for this rambling comment. Never apologize. We love rambling comments. But I really enjoyed this episode, and I wish more people could use their critical thinking capabilities when it comes to characters from the show they love without it becoming personal.
But it has to be personal. But that's why it does such a good job, because it becomes personal. That's the thing. It becomes personal. Like, I don't see.
Man, there are some outtakes from people saying stuff about Dean that's got Sandra foaming at the mouth, y'all.
I don't even know if I still, you know what? I don't even know if I still have that. I've got to.
No, I wouldn't ask you to release them anyway. They are very, very personal and private. They are like, releasing them would be akin to releasing our private friend conversations.
Yeah, because it literally
it's personal for Sandra.
It's triggering, and I don't think that that's so. I get the critical thinking part of it, but it's just. These characters become so personal to you that again, you want to, no one in this situation is perfect. No character that we love and adore in this is perfect. And they all,
excuse you, Sam is an angel baby who's done nothing wrong with a day in his life.
Your opinion.
That's not my opinion.
But I mean, I also know that there are things about Dean that I want to strangle him for, but that I also want to be like, baby, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Be a little more gentle with yourself. And if you can't, let someone else be gentle to you.
Yeah.
So
accept that gentleness from somebody. Yeah. If you can't, if you don't make your own, serotonin, Starbucks is fine. Like that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like I definitely said it in this episode, but like I can see all of the arguments around the whys that John Winchester, the decisions that he made. But when he kicked it's
almost like the how, right? It's not just the why, but it's like how he did it, right? And that's what's kind of like not hitting in some ways, you know?
It's not even that. If you think Sam was 6 months old when John had the curtain pulled back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he was
I can't believe we're having this discussion again, but we are.
No, we are. It's fine. We're committed to it. This might end up getting cut out and released as something
That's
separate.
okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But like Sam was 18, 19 when he left for college.
Mm-hmm.
So John's had 18 years. And like I'm not going to get into the mechanics of grief, but it changes over time. I'm not. Mm-hmm. It doesn't lessen or diminish in my personal experience, but it certainly changes. You have more of a handle on it,
mm-hmm.
and I cannot see anything other than pure petulant malice that leads him to kick his son out into the night with nothing, knowing what he knows about the demon and what it wants from Sam. And he lets him walk out of the door without that information.
Yeah, without the information. That's the one thing we keep coming back to, I think, again and
there
again.
Is
we
nothing
just do not get that. Yeah.
If anybody, and AJ, if you have thoughts about this, please come and talk to us. Please. If anybody can give me...
Because for somebody who was so careful about wanting to keep Sam safe, why not provide him with the tool, not just the weapon, but the tool and the information and the resources. If you're going to continue to, if you're insisting on this, you should know this. That's the one thing, you know.
And also, is not part of being not even a parent, a caregiver of the child, because there are more adults around children that love them than just the biological parent, right? It's not part of being a caregiver and a guardian for a child that you want better for them than you had for yourself. But yeah, is that not so? Even if you took out all the supernatural elements, which is to take out the backbone of the show, and it falls apart. What kind of petulant child of a parent does not want their child to go and be better? And of course, we can get into John's whole revenge arc and blah 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 blah. But I just think that's real fucking shitty.
I think that's when you get into there's real life examples of that we, as watchers of the show, probably can relate to, unfortunately. And I think that's where, as much critical thinking we want to apply, it's kind of like how Dean's got some great critical thinking when he wants to. Does he always do that? No. He reacts, it becomes personal. So I think that's where I like that this show grabs you so much that sometimes it's like critical thinking is just out the window. It's like all feeling. It's all feeling, and it becomes personal because of these characters that we've grown to love and, see ourselves in, reflect different parts of us in those characters. So, I get it. I get it all. It all makes sense.
We get it. We get it totally. We just are unable to recognize your earth logic, I'm afraid. But we will wrap up AJ's comment with her wrapping up thoughts, which is Dean has his shitty habits and behavior, and Sam occasionally did too. I would argue Sam had shitty habits and behavior more than occasionally. Kale and jogging does not a good person make. The moose just got a little bit heavier. I think he does it on purpose when I when I point out his flaws. John was absolutely shitty, but there is an explanation behind it. And at the end of the day, Sam and Dean wouldn't be our boys without this fucked up childhood. And that's
100. I totally agree.
That's what it comes back to. Yeah. We've talked about before the nuance of the fact that you have to apply the context of the show. If you try and pull any of it back out into the real world, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And
because you have to have those stakes. You have to have that. It's a totally different. It's totally different space.
Sam and Dean would have never got out of the asylum in Sam Interrupted if we pulled it into the real world. Mm-hmm. They would have never got out of fucking prison in Folsom Prison Blues if that episode was before Sam Interrupted. I can't remember.
Yeah. That was before. That was season 2.
Yeah. I thought it was season 2, but I couldn't remember where season 2 was. But they would have they would have been locked up. If we pulled this out into the real world, CPS would have, you'd hope, have stepped in as children. It's yeah. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
but yeah,
totally get it, AJ. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your exceptionally lengthy comment. We do, in fact, love exceptionally lengthy comments of all types, exceptionally lengthy anythings. Sorry, I tried to carry that on and my brain went lol now. Sorry.
Oh, goodness.
So yeah, AJ, if you want to come and chat with us, like on air, as it were, and we'll have a chat about Sam. No, we won't. Well, we will. We'll have a chat about John and his failings and his reasons and all the rest of it. We would love to have that, but yeah, this might end up like, you won't know if it gets cut out into a separate thing, but we will. Sandra will make it. And then also in February, we got a YouTube comment about the finale on Runaway Dreamers episode. Now, it's not actually anything to do with Runaway Dreamers episode. It is the fact that while we were talking to her, because she hasn't finished the series, I said, just quit at 19. You can stop at 19 and you can consider the series ended with that episode. And it's like, spare yourself the pain of 20. Like, you have half an idea of what's coming. Spare yourself the pain. And this comment was left for us on that episode. So this is from L Walker 12. And they left a comment. I completely disagree about 15 and 20. Personally, I loved it. It gave every single one of us the feels and I bawled my eyes out. So did I. I cried.
I did too.
For so long, we all cried. Seeing Sam and Dean together in the heaven Jack created, finally at peace as their work is done, just gave me the peace and closure I needed. And I love that people can see that. I really love it. And I mean, if you were only listening to our thoughts on the finale from Dreamers episode, I can understand why you've come to this conclusion. But we actually did do an episode entirely on the finale, and our issues with it are not necessarily with the ending. They are around a lot more things than how it ended. But we'll continue. Of course, then all the callbacks from season 1 just made me want to start over immediately. So it's a never-ending loop. But God, if for no other reason than just to watch them, and the incredible acting by Jared and especially Jensen in the barn scene is worth it. Now, I find the barn scene so particularly painful that I have not gone back and watched it. I even find when fans do poses, when they have J2 photo-ops and they ask them to do the barn scene pose, I find those painful to look at, but that is my trauma. That is my issue. I see the beauty in the barn scene. I am totally with you. I see the beauty in that scene. Jared's acting, Jensen's acting fucking destroyed me in the best way. And again, Elle Walker, I'm going to have to keep directing you back to our full episode on season 12, because it's so much more than just the brief, comments that I gave to Dreamer in her episode. I know people are pissed Dean died, but he was okay with it, so I was too. Yeah, again. He went out on his terms, it wasn't one of Chuck's games, and he told Sam to let it be and let him rest now, not to bring him back, which we both knew he could have, probably in multiple ways. Dean is at peace, which is the ending he deserves. They both deserve together. I fully agree. I find it difficult to get past all the particular bits that hurt me to see that, but I love that people can see that. Sandra, weigh in. I feel like I'm drowning.
No, so for me, I think it has more to do with, there's so many, that scene in particular, and just the things that lead up to that scene for me kind of in some ways can windshield wipe a lot of, to me, the journey of the characters and the questions about what, this whole Chuck having a hand in things, and what is the boys and what isn't, and all that stuff. And that kind of, that ambiguity, I think really doesn't sit well with me, because I want to believe that everything that I've seen of Dean is Dean. Do you know what I mean? And it's almost like his giving, I don't know, we could talk about it, but his giving, like we said, we've done this. I get the giving up. I get the wanting peace. He's been saying that since season 1. Does he always do it? No. Does he always get it? No. He keeps pushing. He's resilient. He's steadfast. He keeps trying. Yes, L Walker 12. Totally get everything that you're saying. totally in agreement that we can agree to disagree about certain things. And that's great. You know, I'm like Kasey said, I'm really glad you got the piece from that.
I think it's worth bearing in mind as well. Again, I'm going to keep saying, go listen to the 15-20 episode that we did. A lot of our criticisms, complaints did not necessarily come with the barn scene and after. They came with the fact that it was so very obviously rushed due to the studio being, you know, the studio, like everything in the entertainment industry during the pandemic, just hemorrhaging money, so desperate to get back and get it finished and, you know, get those last 2 episodes filmed, get them finished, get it out so they could, like, you know, that's a wrap on Supernatural. They can start deconstructing the sets. They can start, you know, they can start moving on. That was to the detriment of the last 2 episodes of the show. And that is my particular complaint, is that it left a lot more questions than it answered, I think. And it deserved better. The show deserved better. Sam and Dean deserved better. And the fans deserved better than what we were given, just because the studio was in a rush to wrap it up.
And I love the fact that, you know, Elle Walker's like, this checked off all my buttons, checked off everything. Sounds like very happy with the way the episode turned out.
And I love that for people. I fully love it for people.
Unfortunately, just like they are saying too, it's not going to be everything for everyone. And it wasn't. It just wasn't for me. I am glad I watched it. Unlike Kasey, I can still watch it when it comes up in my rewatches, but it takes a lot of prepping for it because I know there's going to be emotions, tears, and all of those things. Because in my mind, losing Dean as a character was one of the most gut-wrenching things I've ever experienced. And I did not think I would experience that with a fictional character. And that says a lot about Jensen. That says a lot about Jared. It says a lot about the journey, their relationships, everything that the show meant to everybody. So in a way, there's no way it's not going to hurt. But for me, it's just, there's just some things. No, it just didn't
hit right for us, but we absolutely celebrate everybody that it did hit right for.
Yeah.
You know, we're not here to, you know,
don't want to yuck your yum. We're glad that it did for you, but you got to understand too that our yum got yucked.
It didn't for us. So rounding out this comment, no ending was going to make everyone happy, but telling people not to even experience it deprives them of the journey, the beauty of the boys' friendship / brotherly bond, and the peace they find together even before Dean's death. It deprives the watcher of the ability to make up their own minds about the episode. Okay, if this was the first episode that you watched, maybe this would not have been clear, but me and Dreamer are incredibly close friends.
Yes.
We are very, very good close friends. So that I would not have said what I said to Dreamer to somebody else. She's one of my best friends in the world, and I know a lot of the ways that things get to her emotionally. So while I'm joking around going, oh no, you can fucking leave it, it's trash, blah, blah, blah.
But what I'm really,
what I'm really saying to my friend, not only a guest on our podcast, but my dear good friend, is please be careful. This, like, it fucked Sandra up. It fucked me up. It fucked so many of us in the fandom up that I'm saying to my friend, it's okay. You don't have to put yourself through that. If you wanna, we're here. We'll support you.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. You can stop at 19 and it's a perfectly serviceable ending to the show. So I'm really sorry if what I said came across like I was, you know, trying to deprive people of the real ending. I wasn't. That is me to my friend saying, please be careful. I know that this is going to fuck you up, and it would be remiss of me not to tell you that.
Yeah.
You know? And nothing I said to her on the actual recording is things that I haven't said to her in private as well. So she knows, you know, and that's why she was like, well, I've got it. You know, that's why she laughed it off. She was like, well, I've got it now. You've hyped it up so much. But it's just, you know, I guess I'm talking to my friend, but I'm talking to anyone else out there that hasn't finished the show, is like, you don't have to put yourself through things that hurt in the name of completion. You can stop and go, I'm okay with this here. You don't, you know, it's like, you don't have to do things that are painful just to say you've done them. That's not That's not what we're about, you know?
Yeah.
So but I am really sorry if it came across that way. And then the last part of the comment is, my only real complaint is they should have made it clearer how much time was between episodes 19 and 20. I saw a few writers say 5 years and someone said 3. I think they left it open, so if they wanted, they can revisit that time period. But some fans think 20 happens right after 19, which doesn't sound like the intention. It helps thinking they had years together before.
No, they didn't. They didn't. I don't think they did. I just don't think they did. I don't think they had years. I think they maybe, if you want to stretch it out, maybe months, but I don't think they had years. I just don't. I don't think they did, because I feel like everything is still too raw in Sam's mind. That's not something that I feel the immediacy of the thought process and stuff that they're talking about. It feels closer to me in those discussions. And
I hate it when you do this.
Miracle's still really like bouncy on the bed. Like, I think the dog is like still like very active and doing stuff. And I'm like, the dog should be the clue. If the dog was slower and wasn't doing as much, then I would say, okay, yeah, maybe 5 years. But I don't think so. I know you think differently. I think you want to think longer.
No, I want it to be years.
I would love it to be too. I just don't feel like it is.
Sandra makes very compelling arguments for why there's not in fact years. That's why I hate it when she does this, because I'm like, no, you're crushing my dreams. Stop it. I'm sorry.
I'll be really interested in, whenever Dreamer does get to it, her thoughts 100%. On it as well. Yeah.
100%. No, it's Sandra makes very good points. Apparently my yelling about your good points disturbed the cat then, because she was sleeping and then she like put her head up and like looked at me and then like.
But I still think that still doesn't. Sorry, madam. That still leans into whether it was a few months or a few years. You know, a Walker saying, you know, that could have given them time to do other things in between. There's no reason why other stuff, you know, if they do something, and that's the way they choose to go, is they want to explore stuff between 19 and 20. There's time periods for that. It's just how much of it has been crunched. But honestly, like,
Supernatural's
they've never been good with time.
Been good with time anyway, because like some episodes, you know, some premieres start the same fucking day as the finale. Some start like a couple of days later. Some start a year or more later. You know, there's not a year.
They're not beholden.
Season does not always equate a year.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I agree that was left ambiguous for the purposes of, hey, if we reboot, we've got this space to reboot, where Jared and Jensen, you know, Sam and Dean, like in their late 30s, early 40s, they would be maybe appropriately slowed down in the same way that Jared and Jensen.
Yeah, by the time they come back, it will be 5 years. It'll be 5 years.
And you know, also, there's scope there to say, hey, you know, maybe there's no new monsters, but Sam and Dean are like wrapping up the old, you know, what's left kind of thing that would reduce the amount of like fights and stuff they would have. Yeah, there's a whole lot of questions to be answered there. And I know that we've never got a straight answer from anyone. I know Jared subscribes to the 5-year theory, which is what gives it weight in my mind, because I'm like, the man said that it was the thing, so it's the thing.
You know, and Jensen might think that too. Just I don't. You know, I just don't think so. I don't know if I've ever heard him, whether or not he's in agreement of that or not. So I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it to me. They don't give you enough indication of time passing to make you feel like it's really that much, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. But, you know, as much as we love comments that are like, oh my God, you guys are the best. We love comments like AJ's and like L Walker 12s that go, actually, I kind of feel a little bit differently, because we want that. Talk to us about the things that you feel differently about. Let's have a conversation. Yeah. We are fully on board for conversations. And I apologize to both of you that we weren't in the comments responding to you, but they were long messages, y'all. They were your long messages. And I feel like maybe a YouTube comment section is not the place for those kind of discussions. I'd rather kind of like talk to you, I guess, like this, than just be typing. That's it. But those were the 2 YouTube comments that got left for us over March. And so we just got a couple more kind of shout outs here. So a little while ago, I forget how long ago it was now, but Sandra's Bangs and Bingos episode came out. Sandra signed up for a whole bunch of shit and she's having fun with it. And we said in that episode, why is it called a Big Bang? Does anyone fucking know why it's called a Big Bang? Somebody let me know why it's called a Big Bang, because we didn't know.
Mhm.
And it turns out we could have just Googled it, right? Because Dreamer Googled it and she was like, this is why it's called a Big Bang. And I'm like, that is not fun. I want someone who knows to tell me. But Kim, the wonderful, wonderful, fabulous Kim, who runs the Jackals vs. Bingo and came to chat to us before Sandra's Bangs and Bangs and Bingo's episode went up, found the answer for us. So she messaged Sandra and said, also, I think I found your answer to why they are called bangs. I can talk. I can words.
Do you want me to read this one?
If you wanna.
Okay. Just because you've been doing a lot of reading, and I know it gets exhausting.
I can read.
I know you can. So it says the name of the original fest was chosen to represent the sparks that would fly when Harry and Draco finally got together after years of, what is UST? What does that mean?
Unresolved sexual tension.
I thought it was a time zone simmering under the surface.
I think it is a time zone in Australia, actually.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute. Okay. I got it. However, many fans interpreted the meaning differently than its creators intended, assuming it to mean a big explosion of long fics and art all at once. In an example of fanish drift, it is that meaning that spread to other fandoms, which upset some Harry Draco fans. In 2012, Asia, I'm going to Asia, but I will say Aja. The term Big Bang was actually created by, I didn't really like the word actually. I thought it was kind of stupid, but I just let myself be overruled because I was just like, whatever. They wanted a phrase that would encapsulate Harry and Draco's blinding passion for each other. Nothing at all to do with fic length. That's what people always get wrong when they talk about the Big Bang. It had nothing at all to do with it. It was about like Harry and Draco come together and it's explosive, like a big bang, laughs. Literally, that's what it meant. And Shaggy has made a couple of rants about that on her journal too. You can probably look them up if you try. And this is from fanlore.org/wiki/big_bang. So according to the article, the first mega bang was reportedly in the SPN fandom. Smiley face from Kim.
Thank you very much, Kim, for tracking down the information that we could have Googled. Really should have found ourselves.
Sorry, Bren. But this is fun. This is fun to do it that way.
I like the I can't think of the word. The adventure, I guess, of acquiring information from others. Like, yes, I could Google this, but sometimes it's fun to ask other people and find out who knows what. You know?
Yeah. That's how we have a lot of people, and I'm really not surprised Kim was one of the people that would look that up for us, because as we've known, Kim is very big on research. So I thought that was not surprising when Kim was like, hey, I found the thing that you were talking about.
I found the thing. Yeah.
So thank you.
That's awesome. So thank you very much, Kim.
I
think we're going to have to cut this up a few times, but we'll keep going for now. Keep going for now. Because basically what will happen is Sandra will call on me next week and go, we need to record intros and outros for some shit.
No, right. You know what? We did a 2.5 hour Dreamer one. We can do a 2.5 hour fanfic fan shout out lister thing. It's fine.
Alrighty.
The next bit is, and I think I can say this. Kim was actually the one who came up with a question in a conversation with me after listening to a few episodes. She was curious if we'd actually gotten onto this topic, which the question was, why do we take a character that we profess to love and care about, then put them in traumatizing, sometimes life-threatening situations, and then sob along with the broken mess we've made? Why don't we give that character all the happy endings and love they deserve? So put this question out to some people in our Discord, and I think, did we do it on Tumblr? Did we throw it out there as well? I can't remember.
Maybe.
I think we had a couple people that shared it in some different places. And basically we just put a survey together and asked that question. So we got about a handful of responses. So I just thought it would be fun to read some of the responses. And thank you to everybody that filled this out. So JDL71, they said that they do often put their blorbos through traumatizing, sometimes life-threatening situations. And when we asked why all the drama, they said nothing in life is ever not filled with angst. My fics may be fictional, but they also reflect the world around me. Another yes.
I think that's a great answer though.
Yeah. Another yes was Jinkies, would you look at this? Said the angst is good for plot and giving a platform for character analysis and development. Like put the blorbos in serious situations and see what happens. How does the other blorbo react? Do they make things better or worse? Can love save the day? What about sex? Can sex save the day? Or are they perhaps doomed? So again, interesting response. Any other thoughts? Fanfic to me feels very much like we're collectively running simulations. We all take the same characters, the same world, and tweak various combinations of details to see what that does to the story, to the characters. There are so many possible variables to mess with that the result feels limitless. Angst, smut, humor, horror, fluff, they're all good filters to play around with. And you want to shout out Runaway Dreamers? Thoughts?
Yay!
Yeah.
I feel like a toddler being pandered to. You want the blue cup? Yes.
You get Runaway Dreamers thoughts. Go ahead.
So Dreamer also answered that yes, they put their blorbos through traumatizing, sometimes life-threatening situations. And when asked why, they said, I honestly don't know. They're pretty when they cry. It's a way to let myself feel a lot of emotions safely, a way to live vicariously. I can give them the happy ending that they deserve. And any other thoughts that she would like to share? They are pretty when they cry and when they bleed and when they're hurting. It's their own fault, loudly crying emoji. I'll do the next one. You've done 2, I'll do 2.
Okay.
This one is from BJ/Darley. They also answered yes. And when asked why, they said, the nature of the source material. The characters are all deeply wounded people, and I recognize some of the scarring. And any other thoughts? I don't think it's bad when people write especially dark subject matter, but I do think it's important that artists engage in some self-reflection. Just sit down every once in a while and ask, is my subconscious maybe trying to tell me something? How do I feel writing this? And am I okay feeling that way? Right. Mm-hmm. But she's honestly one of my favorite people to talk to because I always come away like learning something new or having a new perspective on something, you know? And she's just, honestly, she's just one of my faves. And like, that is so profound. But I'm like, fucking hell, I'm freaking
because
like,
it's like you can get it all out, but then what are you going to do with it when it's all laid out on the table? Like, you know, like you can't just leave it there. You kind of got to look at the mess at some point and figure out, you know, why are these things happening?
It's like the box that I was talking about in your brain that you're like, we're not touching that, and then it creeps forward and goes, yes, we are. And then it explodes into like black tentacles and demons and screaming voices, and you're like, well, I can't leave it like this now. It's getting goo on the walls. It's making a fucking mess. You have to, you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I know personally, I've working through some traumas of my own through my work. And it is so cathartic to just really, put these characters in shitty situations and go, you deal with it, motherfucker. Yeah, I get that. But also, I'm not as big a fan of the aftermath when there's like blood and guts all over the wall. And I'm like, oh, tit.
Yeah.
Now I have to fix it, Yeah. But yeah, that was BJ's response. So you want to skip forward to the yes and then we'll look at the no's?
Yeah, I'll do this. So the next yes is from Anonymous. And for While the Drama, the characters I write most for generally have a sad or traumatic background, lots of issues and pain they are not coping with well. I like to be the one to help them through that or offer them comfort in some way. I don't like to see others struggling or suffering. It's the same for my beloved characters. If I can do something to help, I'm going to try. I probably have a bit of a savior complex in the stories. 90% of the time, everything works out with no adverse effects on the savior's emotional or physical well-being, and the character is able to begin the healing process or find healthier coping mechanisms. When I write pure angst, I am likely going through a personal issue, and it's my way of trying to get through it or letting it go. Generally, I still write some kind of resolution, even if it is bittersweet, because someone should get to have a happy ever after. And then sometimes it's a story born from a dream or evil little concept and just needs to be written. Very happy face.
Smiley emoji.
Smiley face.
It's the :D emoji.
Okay. See, I don't know these things. So it's a smiley face to me. It's very happy. It's very happy.
No, that's fine. Okay. Do you want to do one no and then I'll do the last 2 no's?
Yeah. Fictional Lemons, who wrote that they don't put their blorbos through traumatizing, sometimes life-threatening situations, but did write in the other thoughts. My OTP doesn't get a lot of softness or happy endings in canon, so I like to give them that in my fics. Though a healthy dash of angst keeps things interesting, as long as I can mostly give them a HEA. Happily ever after.
There we go.
I know that
you left that there and I was like, does she know?
I know what that is. I know what that is.
Well done.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I will round us off. So, MJ, aka Incog Ninja, aka Thoughts Like a Minefield. Oh my god, guys, she's in our Google Docs. Fucking hell. She commented on some of my fics and I handled it like a fucking pro, which was to say I did not handle it at all. I went, oh my god, Incog Ninja's in my comments. Stay cool, y'all, stay cool. I swear to God, I'm the same fucking starstruck nerd I was when I was 15. So they also answered no. MJ, I'm raising an eyebrow at you, babes. I would argue that you fucking do sometimes. Although I suppose that depends on your definition of a blorbo. Can a reader insert or an original female character be a blorbo? I don't think they can. Maybe that's why she's chosen to answer it like that. I see you, girl. I see you. So her other thoughts were, a lot of what I write is based in or influenced by my personal experience, by personal experiences of my own, or others that have had an impact on me, and are often things I'd like to revisit, exercise, or change the ending.
So kind of like DJ's thread a little bit, but just like, yeah.
Yeah. A little bit less messy. There's a little bit less blood and goo on the walls, but you're still you're just calmly taking things out of the box and going, which I would argue is probably a much mentally healthier way to do that. But some of us are adverse. So we clean up a lot more goo off the walls than we want to. Rounding us out here, the last response that we got is from Mrs. Who's What's It? Who'sy What's It? What's
Mrs. Who'sy What's Is? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
It's because there's a T in there. You would say What's It, not What's Is in the UK. So that's my bad, Michelle. I'm very sorry. She also does not put her blorbos through traumatizing, sometimes life-threatening situations. And her other thoughts are, I don't like to put my characters through much more than what canon has already put them through. My inner desire to hug them all seems to win out. That being said, I do enjoy both reading and writing angst. I just don't generally like hurting them more. Lol, I don't know if that makes a difference, but I also don't write outside canon much. I've written exactly one AU. World building is hard, man. Lol.
These are all great. These are
fabulous. Thank you very much for your comments. So I suppose we should probably poke the boxes ourselves, Sandra. So, do you often put your blorbos through traumatizing, sometimes life-threatening situations? Before I ask that.
Yeah, okay.
Before I ask that, should we settle a debate? Okay. Can a reader insert or an original female or male character be a blorbo? Do they have to be an established character? Because I think a blorbo has to be an established character. I don't think you can make a blorbo.
What's the definition of a blorbo again?
It's a blorbo from my shows. It's like a character from your show.
So if it's a blorbo from your show, then by definition it wouldn't be. But if it's something you're, again, I don't know. So I do this more with my original female characters, most definitely, than I do with the boys. I want the boys to have more of the happy and I still want to put them through angst and I guess whoomp. I guess I'm realizing I do that too. I was told I was an evil writer in a recent comment. I'm like, yeah.
Oh my God, on what?
Rinse. Yeah.
On the final chapter?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read that yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just because
I'm so sorry.
No, just because of everything that I'm putting, and I get it, because when you're in charge of the story, you are making certain decisions about what you're putting them through, what their reactions to it. We've had discussions over that becomes more of like the characters kind of leading or reigning, but you're choosing to put them in a situation and see what shakes out of it. So I think that personally, I know I really strive for a happily ever after. There can be some bumps along the way, but I don't want to put them through a tremendous amount of trauma because I feel like they've already gone through a lot of trauma. I think the story I'm working on now I was given I was a little bit evil. I'm literally going through canon with that story. So I can see why I think that might feel, maybe it's a little harder than my fix-its. You know what I mean? Because I'm still going to fix it at the end, but the way I'm fixing it is literally by stopping at a certain point and not going beyond, my end goal. So yeah, I think I'm harder on my original characters than I am on the boys when I put them in situations.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that echoes kind of why I was eyebrow raising MJ. I don't know. I think some of your reader inserts and your original female characters,
they get it rough. Yeah,
they get it rough.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of exploration there. Yeah,
yeah. Let's stick to the Tumblr definition, the blorbo from my shows. Any other thoughts?
Well, what about you?
Oh, okay. Is it my go now? Do I often put my blorbos through traumatizing sometimes? Now, that depends on what era of Kasey you're reading. If you're reading early Kasey, no.
No.
No, it was very nice and sweet and it was all cute. And the worst that happened is someone had a panic attack. If you're reading more recently, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes.
Kicks Junkie's little more further under the bed. Yes. The why is I'm always just like, what if it just bends a little though? You know, like I'm really, really interested in how far you can twist a concept before it's unrecognizable as that concept. Like Supernatural does it with family. I'm really interested in doing it with like consent and how you know, how far can you push that? Because it's a safe space. Yeah. In the real world, you don't push consent at all. You take what's, you know, consent is either given or it is not. And it is a very clear line and distinction. But I can, you know, and it's for me, it's a way of exploring some of the things, not necessarily some of the things that have happened to me. You know, I've never had a demon addicted brother that I fucked in this lifetime anyway. So it's exploring the kind of like what happens when you don't consent, but you're kind of like forced into it, and you know, where does that lead you? And then that was kind of, all right, Junkie started out as porn, but that was where it kind of started out, you know, like, but it has very much now turned into being in the aftermath of that kind of devastation and not knowing where to even begin
to bring it back
to pick up the pieces.
Yeah. I love reading that stuff. I love reading that stuff from everybody else. I can't get there with my writing. And I don't know if that's intentionally. I feel like that's intentionally a wall. You know what I mean? That's like, it was for me. Yeah. I just don't want to go there with my writing. Yeah.
That was 100% a wall for me until I wrote Junkies, and it took root, and I was like, oh, I could explore this, and I could explore not like concepts that I could explore, but I wrote Junkies and I was like, well, now I need to know how this happened. You know, now I need to know how Sam and Dean ended up here. And then so I wrote Control, and then that ended like that. And then I was like, well, now I need to know how they got from where we are now to where we start off in Blood. So then there was Shame. And then I was like, well, I'm fucking committed to it now. So let's see where we end up, you know?
And if anybody's curious, we did a whole Taking Authors to Task before we even started adding Gently to the beginning of it for Junkies with Kasey. Yeah. And we are going to have a wrap up when it's done. We're also going to do Taking Authors to Task. As I've been told, I'm also getting that for wash, rinse, and repeat whenever I finish that thing too.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's for me, it's being able to, it starts off finding out, because there have been moments in my life where it would have been really easy to just hit the self-destruct button and just go, fuck it, you know, and there are various things that have kept me from doing that. And I guess that kind of goes back to what I was saying in response to AJ's comment about John. You have to make the choice to try. You know, there are many times when I could have gone, fuck this noise, but I made the choice to try.
And I like that some people use, I think that's how people decide to approach writing too. Like some people are actually saying, I'm using this to get through or process something, right? Like this is how some people are using that writing. They're writing, and they're using sort of like Sam and Dean to project that on, where I think it sounds like some writers might lean similar to me, where it's like, we don't want to put them through anymore. We could still explore some things that maybe with another character or different thing like that, but not with them. And even then, to that extent, I don't think there might be other ways, right, that we're kind of like working through those things. And maybe the writing isn't necessarily doing that, you know, for us. So the exploration is different. And I think that's really great. Again, that shows why people write and why they write their characters in certain situations and don't, which was the whole dang question to begin with. Like, why do you write it? Like, what do you write and why? And
where do you
fall? And I think that kind of gives a good like snapshot of how people approach writing, and not just fan fiction, just writing, because people will like journal, people will do different things. And like, again, like it's a very interesting, like even Dreamer stuff, like Dreamer can be really hard, really bad with them. Then fixes it, right? Like we're fixing it. And I'm curious because and this is going to be a question for you for later, for gently, when I take you to task, not gently. Is
I don't get the gently. I just get, what the fuck did you do this for? I really
do wonder how much of Dreamer's influence on having to make it happy or fix it, or even my influence, has really made you be like, oh, I've really got to go back and fix this now. You know what I mean? It's like how much of the peanut gallery saying, no, you got to fix it. Like, again, like if you just done that for you and kept it, right, and didn't share, would you have left it like that? And you might have, right? You might have, but I think like it was. I
would have left it after Blood.
It was the other voices. It was the other. It was getting that feedback. Like, no, we got it. You got to fix this.
It wasn't even just getting the the Gestapo light shining my eyes, going, you fucking fix this, motherfucker. It wasn't even that. It was people asking, you guys asking. So what happens?
Yeah.
What about this and what about that, and just probing what happens. I think if I'd have had my way with it, it would have ended at Blood. I probably still would have gone and written Control and Shame, because that was my brain itching me, going, well, how did we get
right?
We've deviated from canon, but where did we deviate?
Yeah.
But I probably would have left it at Blood, and that's a tragic place to leave it, because we leave Sam sobbing.
But it's
on
interesting,
a bed,
right? Like, again, it's like how much of the influence, then just keeps you thinking about something where you could have just left it. You might have just left it alone up to a certain point.
You know what? I know exactly why I would have left it there, because I had all the catharsis I needed of smashing something into 1,000 pieces and absolutely destroying it. And I didn't want to do the work that I'm doing now, which is stand in that destruction and go, where do I even fucking start? I would have, which I think is one of, I think that's one of the reasons that when I first started, I didn't explore those harder topics, because I was like, no, it's got to be sweet and fluffy, because we're not poking that fucking box. Like you said, it was a wall, definitely. And then I was like, I think for me personally, I find it easier to explore through Wincest than I do through.
Yeah, you've talked about that. Yeah.
Not through any sort of sexist or men can. It's nothing to do with that. I just feel like I can put Sam and Dean in more extreme conditions and trust that they'll cope.
And they'll come out the other end. Yeah. And I suppose when you write Reader Insert, that is an extension of yourself. And I don't want bad things for me. I want nice things for me. Yeah.
Fuck you. This is my fantasy.
Yeah, it is weird. I really do think that when you get Reader Insert, or even an original female character, because I feel like every character that anybody creates, you're taking a part of yourself into that. So it's like, what am I exploring? What am I wanting to push forward in terms of a characteristic or trait or different thing like that? And what am I maybe trying to wrestle with that's, something that maybe I've worked on or worked through. I just know for me, when I originally started fanfic writing for Supernatural, and it was definitely, it started right before the ending came out, and it was like right around when COVID hit, and I was like, I know I want a happy ending for them. How am I going to write it, and how am I putting myself, my original female character, into it to go on the journey with Dean? So then that's how it was. But at the end, it's like, no matter what I keep finding, what if this happens, still bringing it back to, I want the life to continue. I want there to be experiences. I want there to be changes. I want there to be aha moments for him as a character. I want growth for him too. You know what I mean? And I because I felt he wasn't going to get that right on the show. So, and I was right. I was right about that. So
Sandra's prophetic abilities come to fore once again. No, totally. And I'm looking at Jinky's other thoughts again. Like we're running a simulation.
Yeah.
And I love that. I've said before that one of my favorite things about the fandom is that we all watched the same show, but we all walked away slightly different.
Yeah.
You know, just a little bit. And I
the variables. The variables to mess with. That's exactly what it is.
That's it. And you take, the same characters, the same world, and you go, what if we just turn this up and this down? And what if I just do this? And
it's your bending.
You know,
it's how you bend. Yeah.
What if it just bends a little, you know? What if it just bends a little?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things. And that's not exclusive to the Supernatural fandom, but this is my fandom. So, you know, but it's a very human thing that we all can see the same thing and we all walk away just slightly different from it. And I love that.
Really like that. Really like that.
So I guess I'll start because, nobody panic, but the 7th installment of Junkies is almost done.
Yay!
No, nobody panic, especially not me. Fuck. So I guess I'll start. Because I think there's actually been a couple of installments since the last time you took me to task.
Okay, so one more note before we get into the next bit. Just a little Spotify audience note, which Kasey's in charge of YouTube and gets really like in depth, I think, sometimes with the analytics and stuff there. I like to dive into Spotify and find out what's going on. So in terms of audience, for the United States, people in 47 of the United States are listening to us. So when I looked at the list, one state is not named. The analytics are a little weird, but I'm thinking if you don't get enough people, like for confidentiality or privacy purposes, it doesn't like pop up like until you get so much of the algorithm or whatever's happening there. So one state is not named in the 47 listed. Until the mystery state is revealed, we are still officially waiting to see the following states pop up: Montana, North Dakota, and Rhode Island. So those are the 3 states, as far as we know, are not listening. So
what are you doing with your lives, guys? Come on now.
Yeah, come on, Montana, North Dakota. I mean, I get it. Bobby's in South Dakota, so he's hogging everything up. So is Jody. But come on, North Dakota and Rhode Island. So yeah, looking forward to it. I'm thinking the one state that's not named is Rhode Island because it's so darn small, because it's smaller than Delaware. So I'm thinking
the
that's
population
why
isn't enough to tip the Spotify algorithm, even if everybody was listening.
Not yet. I think that's what it is. But
if you are listening in Rhode Island, though,
tell us.
That is the reason.
Tell mystery state. Is that the mystery state? Are you from Rhode Island? Or are you from North Dakota or Montana and you're listening? Tell it.
We need to know.
Tell a podcast host, please. Please let us know.
Yes, let us know. I mean, we don't even get that kind of breakdown. We just get England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. That's it.
Yeah, which kind of sucks. I was like, man, because I would like to get further into that.
I want a city breakdown.
Yeah.
I would like it, or at least a county breakdown. Come on now, please.
Yeah, so many people all over. It's just amazing when we look at like the countries, and
it's cool, you guys.
It's so neat. So if you've ever listened, if you listen regularly, just thank you. We really do appreciate that. It means a lot that you listen to our rants and stuff. So appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. We love you all. We do love you all. Thank you very much. On the back of our eternal thanks and gratitude and love, we have a call to action. That sounded really serious, like something serious is happening. But like, we need your help, guys. But we do have, listeners, a small ask. We've spent like the last hour and a half extolling our endless gratitude and thanks and appreciation for you coming on this journey with us. I call us the little podcast that could. This is Sandra's little podcast that could, and I'm so fucking proud to be a part of it and, be along for the ride. And we're so endlessly grateful. We are so amazingly grateful for, your interest and the community that we've built over the last 2 years, almost 2.5 years now. Holy shit. Oh my God, we've been here for so long. And our little Discord community and, Tumblr and the people that email us, and y'all are just so great. I love y'all so much. It's honest, like it's amazing. Like, we're so fucking thrilled that just our little podcast keeps you company, makes you laugh, keeps you giggling during the grocery shopping trip, as we know that some people listen to us in the grocery store, which that seems dangerous. I am not fit for public consumption, guys. That we've provided you with a point of view that you might not thought about, and that you feel like you're hanging out with friends at the end of the day, which is what we want so badly. Like, we're centered around Supernatural, but we want you to just feel like we're buddies and we're just driving around and we're just hanging out and we're just putting the world to rights. That is always what I want from an episode. That's what I want you to walk away feeling like that. So when you tell us that you do, that inspires us to keep going. it hasn't grown into a behemoth. I think we were just woefully naive when we started.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We spent a lot of our time going, we didn't think that this would be this.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't realize this would be this big a thing. But it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes resources to share. So these episodes, they take time to put together, they take time to research, they take time to record, obviously. It takes Sandra time to edit them, make artwork, get them out, all that kind of stuff. And then there's all the associated software and hardware costs that come along with that. So what we're asking you guys for is just a little bit of listener support. That's all. So nothing strenuous, just a little bit of listener support. And that would help us to continue, what we're doing. So we've got a few options. We've had a Ko-fi for a long time, but we never really plugged
donations. Yeah, we've gotten
donations. we have got donations 100%, but we never really it feels weird to ask for money. I've got to say, maybe that's the Brit in me, but I'm like, oh, shit.
No, it's weird. We talked about this.
It's weird. We feel weird. We feel weird about this, guys. But if we don't reach out for help, then that's our failing. So that's what we're doing here. So we've set up a couple of membership tiers on Ko-fi, literally like $1 and $5. Like literally just $1, guys, is all we're asking. And you get perks for that and things like that. And goats may or may not be involved. It just takes a lot of time. And if you could help us, that would be so cool.
Yeah,
so
because
amazing.
if we do get a little bit of assistance, then I know we'll be able to keep doing this every week. If you want to keep listening to us rant about stuff, because as Kasey was saying, there is a lot of time, effort, and just resources. It's like another job. It has turned into another job, but it's a great job, but it's a fun job.
We love it. We love it 100%.
And we'll still keep doing it as long as we can. It's just knowing that there's some support to help us keep doing it is great. I will say, ideally, it would be great if we got enough listeners to just get us over the Spotify hump, so to speak, where if we have enough listeners, then there's ads, right? So there's supported ads, which then kind of like takes it's not so much every individual listener, it's like the collective. So a good way to, if you can't, which we totally get, if that support isn't something you can do, share the podcast, subscribe to it wherever you subscribe to it, rate it, like it everywhere, continue to comment. Comments help us, comments help on YouTube. They help that whatever that freaking algorithm's deciding to do, but all those things.
Don't say that.
Okay.
All hail the algorithm. All hail its benevolence.
But again,
we're not worthy.
If we get enough members and stuff, if we get enough listeners in one respect, we don't necessarily have to do this, but we're not there yet. We're still tiny. So if you can help, top off the tank in baby and just help us continue on the journey, then it's very much appreciated. And if you can't, totally get it.
Totally cool.
There,
our content will always, our content will always be free. We're not going to put anything behind a paywall. You're not going to have to pay to access anything. It's just, you get some perks, that kind of thing. But we will never paywall our stuff. We are here just, top the tank off, road snacks. That would be endlessly appreciated. And like Sandra said, if you can't, well, it's totally fine. We totally get it. Just like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave comments, leave Q&A responses, share it with your friends, tell your co-workers, whatever. Just talk about idling in the Impala, because that helps so fucking much.
Yeah, because I have to get my husband to stop talking about it to people that he knows. So
Ted, stop talking. None of those things apply to you, Ted. But everyone else, tell everybody. But Ted,
yes,
I know he's not going to listen this far into an episode if he listens at all.
No, he won't. He won't listen this far. He'll be like, I'm tapped out.
You got to step your husband game up, Ted. My husband is a part of the Discord, and he's subscribed on
he's
at least one platform,
and he does show up to podcasts occasionally. So so he does that. Yeah. So it's a balance. It's a balance.
We entice him in with talking about public transport and his family members. That's what we do. Just entice him in.
Absolutely.
Ted will actually be showing up in a couple of weeks, because when I come back from my con in the start of May, Ted will be showing up for the post-con. The breakdown. Yeah. I've lured him in with the promise that I have to get on 6 fucking trains, and he's like, fucking hell, really? So because UK trains and American trains are very different.
Do you have any updates to share about the con? before we say goodbye?
That feels really weighted, like I should have something.
No, I just mean, I think the last time we talked about it, you had gotten, we knew you got the passes and you'd gotten the autograph and the photo. Have you, is there anything else? I feel like there's something else you said you were going to go to.
Oh yeah, I'm going to, they have like they're doing like an opening party on Friday night. So I'm gonna, got some tickets to that. I'm gonna hop along and see what's about there. I haven't booked any other guests, and I know that's real dangerous because they say that you should never go to a con like a mixed franchise con like what I'm going to. You should never go for just one guest. But the thing is, all the other people that I want to see are real fucking expensive, and Jared wiped me out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, because like there's been a really big Lord of the Rings kind of thing announced. So there's like all 4 hobbits are going to be there. Orlando Bloom is the new headliner after Elizabeth Olsen had to drop out. So, like Legolas, if you haven't seen Lord of the Rings or you don't know who Orlando Bloom is, Legolas from Lord of the Rings, Will Turner from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's been in some other stuff, but that's what people remember him for. So he's going to be there. The Hobbit's going to be there. Andy Serkis, who played Gollum, is going to be there.
Isn't there a replica of something that's going to be there?
I'm getting to it.
Okay. I was just waiting. I was waiting.
Getting to it. I knew that was weighted. I knew there was something. So, but like, I'm going to see what's still available on the day, because you can pay like on the day for autographs and photographs and stuff like that. So I haven't pre-booked anything else. But in addition to all of the cool like photos and autographs that you can have, I'm still waiting on, they do panels, but I'm still waiting on the email for that. But they're still finalizing guests, and it's in like 3 weeks. Maybe they're running a little bit behind, I'm not sure. But I'm waiting for my photo and autograph slots for Jared. I'm waiting for the panels to be announced, because some of them you can turn up to, some of them you have to book on. So I'm going to see like what I want to do with that. But in addition to all that fun stuff, they have props that you can have photos taken with, and they've got a Pokeball, and they've got a Scoops Ahoy. I can feel Sandra gritting her teeth.
Like, come on. Come
They
on.
do most happen as well. But what Sandra really wants me to spill is they have a baby prop there. It is not. It's not
Jared's.
The baby. It's not Jared's. It's not even any of the Impalas that played baby in the show. It is a 2-door Impala. There are no 4-door Impalas in the UK, period, apparently. Because people like try to rent them for weddings and stuff, which is fucking cool. There are no 4-door Impalas in the UK. This one is, she's the Dark Huntress, which I think she might have been in another TV show. But that's what people were referring to her as in the comments. So if y'all know what that is, hit a bitch up. I don't know. But she's a 2-door black Chevy Impala. She's beautiful. And I'm going to try and get a picture with her. I don't think I'm going to be able to get in her, but I am going to try and get a picture with her.
Maybe find out. Say, I co-host a podcast. It's called Idling in the Impala. It would be so cool if I could get a picture inside,
I'll ask. I'll be cheeky. I'll ask, but I don't know. But the good thing about this is all the photo props are free. We love free things. I'm not too sure who takes the pictures, but we'll see.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
that's so cool. That's so
I'm
cool.
going to try and get a picture with baby. What else am I going to try and do while I'm there?
Well, I think we all just have to like give you a whole bunch of good thoughts, and for the day of.
If y'all could just on Saturday the 4th of May, if you could just like send up a thought to your anything of choice that I don't cry, talk too fast so that he can't understand me, or trauma vomit my entire sad life story all over the poor man, or actually vomit or faint, just that would be real fucking helpful to me.
Oh God.
I am incredibly nervous. I'm very, very nervous.
It's going to be so great. And again, like if you join us on Discord, you will be able to give Kasey all sorts of well wishes as well, because we're hyping it up in the Con Experience channel. Every so often I pop in, and there's so many days left before Kasey gets to meet Jared. So
yeah, and then I get a notification about that, and then I have to then I'm like, oh fuck, panic, God. Is it the wrong time to say that I haven't booked the time off work yet?
You should do that.
Yeah, no, I should do that. I should do that.
You should do that.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm trying to work out how much annual leave I'm going to fucking have. So I know, because I will have enough to take the Monday and the Friday off, which is when I travel and when I come back. But see if I can take the Tuesday off as well. And the Thursday is my problem. But, you know, that'll all work out.
Work itself out. But yeah, you should
Sandra's like,
bare minimum
please do
in there.
Please book the time off work. Fucking hell. But yeah, no, so it's all good. It's coming up quick. I've got my Jared shirt ordered. So if you are listening in the UK and you are going to go to Liverpool Con, on Saturday you will I'll be wearing a black t-shirt, which, you know, narrows me down massively. But it does have a big love heart on the front that says, I have Jared in this shirt. You know, come find me. Come hit me up. Let's have a conversation. I don't know what I'll be wearing for Sunday, but you know what? I'll tweet or tumble it out.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
I'm a bit more attached to my phone than Sandra is. She's a bit more engaged with the real world, whereas I'm a bit more of a millennial in my phone.
I'm going to try for the next one. I'm going to try, see what we can do. See if we can get a little bit
with
more
your little
out there.
TikTok mic. Tiny mics. Tiny mics. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. There's been like a whole bunch of new people announced, stuff like that. They've got like some Star Wars people, because the comments were like, it's on May the 4th, where are the Star Wars people? Monopoly were like, we booked this because we needed the space. It was never meant to be a Star Wars thing. We're real sorry, but we're trying. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, I even was like, you know, come on, May the 4th be with us. Come on now. We gotta call it that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. So there's I wish I had an endless source of funds so that I could go and do all of the really cool things and, you know, be able to what was your problem with what I just said? Cal just rolled over and gave me such a look. What? Have you got funds? You out there selling catnip? You can lend a bitch some money? No, that's what I thought. But I am determined to have the best time, and I will be tweeting and Tumblring and all manner of good shit.
We have some fun stuff coming up. We do. We have fun stuff coming up.
We do have fun stuff coming up. It's going to be good. So yeah, stick around, guys. We'll be back with another listener shout out episode in a few months. So you know, jump in those comments. And I always get really excited when like YouTubers like read my name out and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys do too.
Well, wow, what a surprise. It's been longer than we expected it was going to be. So, but I think
almost
it was a good conversation, almost 2 hours long. But no, we want to thank you for listening. Again, we're hoping to do these every few months. But if you want to get in touch with us and let us know what you thought of the episodes, email us at idlingintheimpala@gmail.com. Comment on Spotify in the Q&A section to share your thoughts. Leave a YouTube comment, join us in Discord, and yell at us in real time. All our contact details are on our website, idlingintheimpala.com. You can also find our merch store there.
We are currently, because this will go out before it's over, it's Priding in the Impala time. It's not month, it's running. By the time you're listening to this, it is live, and it will be running through to the end of June. So you can head on over to idlingintheimpala.com and grab yourself some Priding in the Impala merch. Supports us, and 50% of all the profits and any donations, all of the donations, we don't take anything from donations, goes over to the Trevor Project, which is an LGBTQ plus charity that we have been
and you
championing.
said we're already ahead, right? Than where we were last year. So great job. More. Thank you so much to everybody who's done that. We appreciate it.
That's amazing. Thank you to everybody that has picked up some merchandise. We love you. And also I have to buy like 50 stickers because they're so fucking cute. Jesus. But
all our contact details are on our website, idlingintheimpala.com. Go check it out.
Don't forget, you can support us by liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube, and following, rating, and sharing on audio platforms. Engagement really helps us with algorithms. All hail to their benevolence.
Yeah, don't be like me. Don't disregard it. It's got to hail it.
No, you have to hail it and give it.
We're not
worthy. Insert Wayne's World gift. We're not worthy. As always, we have the causes that we are supporting in the description. So for me, you have LGBTQ plus talking charities. From Sandra, you have mental health charities. Sandra is also giving you US election info. You need to keep yourself informed and up to date as November closes in. Remember the Rocky Horror Picture Show? And bastardize it just a little bit. It's a jump to the left, not a step to the right. The main causes that we are championing, highlighting, spotlighting, any adjective that means bringing attention to is as always, and will remain World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders. Both of these charities are working on the ground in the Ukraine to help those still affected by Russia's unlawful invasion, and in Gaza, which is in the crossfire of the war between Israel and Hamas. This is not political. It doesn't matter which side of these issues you stand on. We are purely coming from a humanitarian view here. There are people in the Ukraine and Gaza that are trapped. They're cut off from basic human rights like food, water, and shelter, and they are dying. They didn't ask for war, and we want to help the people risking their lives to help them. Okay, so we are going to be championing these causes until such time as they are not needed in these locations. All right. If you can't or you don't want to donate financially, that's totally fine. We get it. Just sharing the links around social media helps massively to keep these issues in the public eye and get people in need all the help that we can. So with that, we will say thank you to all our wonderful listeners. Thank you to our Discord members. Thank you to everyone who reaches out and communicates with us. We love you all. Thank you for joining us in this TARDIS of a back seat. Nobody tell Dean that we've turned the back seat into a TARDIS. And we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.